What's happening, folks? What is going on? Welcome to the latest and greatest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the virtual shore, aka the Still Basement. What's happening, man? What's going on? Hope everybody's doing well tonight. You already see the title. We're going to definitely talk a little bit about Omar Khan. I don't know why I got these headphones on. It's not time for headphones yet, right? I need the headphones when it's phone call time. But I was checking my levels and things like that, making sure that music and such isn't too loud for you guys. So you guys let me know that sounded okay to me. So what's going on, man? Again, these shows are a little more expedited. So as you can see, actually, I'll throw the timer up there, but don't even expect to do that. I say that every week, but like last week, show was a little bit shorter. So we're going to keep it like that. Not a whole lot to get into yet. We will be able to get into some things shortly. Combine is happening this week. Free agency is slowly approaching. So then, maybe some of the content will pick up a little more as far as topics to talk about. But right now, I'll be honest with you, I'm pulling at straws trying to find things for us to really get into. But it's always a good time coming in here and hanging out with you guys. So let's get to it. So first and foremost, let's say hello to the early commenters. Got to do that. 412, born and raised. What's going on? Joshua Shield, Jersey Boy 70. Hello, Miss Lanisha in the building. Make sure you guys give a special hello to Lanisha and any of the other lovely Steeler Nation ladies that come on tonight. Y'all know how we do. Treat them correctly. Make sure you say hello. Who else we got up in here, man? Steelers cards. The infamous Tim, he says, yo, Sim, I'm back. Welcome back. Good to have you back. Glad everything is well. Three Wings Mumbo on the side, Jumbo Mix. Again, every time I see that name, I always pick with him and say he's got to be from D.C. or the DMV, just off the mere mention of wings and mumbo sauce. So what's up to you? Lydell Dorsey, Jack Bauer, my good buddy Ron Gaming. What's going on, Ron? How's it going, man? Hope you're doing well. Lyle McCombs, what's up, man? Hello, Miss Debbie in the building again. Make sure y'all say your special hellos to the lovely ladies. Nisha and Debbie already in here, so don't forget them. Father-in-law Leonard in the building. My good buddy Kenyon in the building, of course. What up, Kenyon? Rod, Cody, and let me just say this real quick. Kenyon and I and Tony, we talk all the time. But would y'all believe that somebody sent me, y'all really be paying attention. Somebody sent me a message saying, hey, I noticed when you do your early hellos, you never say hi to Kenyon. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, it's kind of underwritten. I don't really have to say hello to Kenyon. I really don't even have to say hello to father-in-law Leonard. I just give Leonard a shout out. But yeah, okay. So that's why I've started to say Kenyon's name, because to some of you guys, y'all want to hear me say what's up to Kenyon. So yeah, Kenyon, that actually happened. It actually happened. Who else we got in here? Brent Fox, still a lead. My man, Y Diggy, Cody is in the building. And I guess we'll stop it right about there. Wave Dave, what's up, Wave Dave? Yeah, very awkward, still a lead. I'm telling y'all. The life of I guess you would say a YouTuber. I don't really put myself in that box not just yet, because I'm not a ginormous channel. So, am I a YouTuber? Am I not? But yeah, life of a YouTuber, man, is, you'd be surprised the type of comments and DMs and things that you get. Quite hilarious. But let's get to it, man. As you can see, the main topic of the night, we're definitely going to talk about Omar Khan. He spoke today. For you guys who keep up with that sort of thing, he did basically speak today at the Combine. It didn't give a whole lot of information. To me, it's always hilarious to me when, fans, yes, I'm talking about you guys in Steeler Nation. We're all family, right? So I can talk about you. It always cracks me up how you guys think you're going to get so much from these interviews, whether it's a post-season interview with AR2, or if it's Mike Tomlin on his weekly presser, or when it was Kevin Colbert back in the day, or now Omar Khan. They're not going to tell you but so much. No GM, no head coach is going to sit up there and tell us exactly what they're doing. Now, some of them will give you enough for you to grasp what they're trying to say, and you can piece it together, but they're not going to spell it out for you. They're not going to write it out and carefully print it on the paper in beautiful handwriting for you to read. They're not going to do it like that. They're going to give you general stuff. They're going to generalize it. And if you understand how the organization has worked, or at least over the last 10 years, if you've paid attention, you can kind of pull your own conclusions based off of the little bit that they will share with you. So there you have it. So it's weird to see that people are upset. Oh, he didn't say a whole lot. Yeah, they never do. But we'll talk about it. I want to talk about that. I'll briefly talk about the hiring of Aaron Carey. And also another little tidbit that I'm going to talk about, something that they're replacing in the Steelers Stadium. Again, the Shore, as I call it. It's going to be Heinz Field to me, but I'm going to call it the Shore. I cannot say that entire name of that stadium. I'm sorry. Maybe it'll grow on me one day. And then I'll get into the Omar Khan stuff. So first and foremost, guys, let's talk about, wait a minute. Looks like we have a donation. So I am definitely going to give a round of applause for that. Y'all know I always stop myself and address donations. Let's do it. Round of applause to Carmichael, the sports guru. Give me just a second. Here we go. Nope, I don't think it's playing. Hold on. 1 second. For some reason, my round of applause shut down on me, but we're going to open it back up because I'm going to take care of you guys. All right, round of applause to Carmichael. So Carmichael says, you can only make conclusions from their roster moves on free agency. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. That's all we really can do. You can speculate. You can even make these speculations with your heart. But then when it really comes down to understanding what they're probably going to do, you kind of have to go with your head versus your heart. You guys know how it works in professional sports, particularly our Steelers or what other, professional organizations you follow. The teams very rarely do what you as the fan want them to do. Sometimes your vision might align, but it just don't work like that. And I'll be the first one to say every player that you think is good for the team ain't good for the team. Because once again, not everyone is detail oriented like that as far as knowing scheme and how guys fit in and, what their real value is. Not everybody is that detailed on that. A lot of people, again, and this is not a disrespect statement, a lot of fans are highlight watchers. Name recognition. And that's how they choose free agents. Like, oh, we should get him. But they might not even fit with anything that we do. So, all you can really do is kind of learn the organization, watch how they move in free agency, watch how they move in the draft, look at what positions they value and things like that. And, remember how all of these years we could determine who they were going to draft based on whether or not Colbert and Tomlin were at the pro day. Generally, the first round guy came from that. Like, you got to try to find those little patterns, and that helps you to kind of understand what the team is going to do. But even with that said, you're never going to be 100% right, because almost all of us thought if the Steelers were taking a quarterback last draft and Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett were available, most of us thought that they would go with Willis because of what we expected Willis could potentially be, right? But the Steelers had other ideas in plan. They had another plan. They had another idea in place. So there you have it. Oh, here we go. We have another donation, man. Y'all are firing tonight. Y'all hitting early and often. Round of applause to my man, Steeler Lee. He says, even though Omar Khan is his own man and will make his own decisions, people have to realize that Colbert groomed him. So don't be surprised if fans see very similar like moves this offseason. Absolutely. He said that much in his interview today. Well, he kind of said, he continued to reiterate that, he's his own man. He has a different role now. He's going to make some of his own decisions. He did, weigh in on people saying that he's more aggressive. But he also said he sat under Colbert for so long, and he was a part of the process. Remember, even how you approach free agency, they're asking him, is there going to be any changes? He was the numbers guy. And he even said this himself. He said, Jerry, if there's a way for me to find cap, I'm going to find it. I'm assuming, I don't know if it was Jerry Dulac. I'm just saying, kind of seemed like a guy that he was familiar with when he said, me, Jerry. But he was the numbers guy. So he's always been involved when it comes to those. What's going on with the lighting here, guys? There we go. A little too bright. There we go. But yeah, he's always been involved. So it's going to be a lot of similarities in some things, but I think we will see some differences with the guy, Weidel. I wish I knew exactly how to pronounce him, but Andy Weidel. It's going to be a team of him, him, Khan, and Tomlin. So there may be some differences, but yeah, don't be surprised if you see a lot of similarities, because a good part of that as well comes from the guys up top, so there you have it. So, all right, what we're going to do really quick, man, let's get into some of the small talk, get that out of the way, and then I'll dive right into the Omar Khan talk briefly, and then I'll go to the phone calls, and then we'll be out of here. So the first thing I want to talk about, and I don't really have a lot to add to this because I don't know what type of coach he's been, but I did see that Aaron Carey was hired as the inside linebacker coach. Many of you guys would know that Brian Flores is no longer on the staff. He took another position as a defensive coordinator, I believe, with the Vikings. Shout outs to him. But I don't know what Aaron Carey was or has been as a coach. I do not. So many times I don't have a lot of opinions on coaches because I don't follow coaches that intently the way I do players. If it's a head coach, if it's a coordinator, it's more obvious for most of us who watch the game to understand what type of philosophy they have. But as far as position coaches, I'll be the first one to admit, and let me say admit, because a lot of people don't admit this. A lot of people, again, say who we should bring in as coaches and such because of name recognition. But many of us don't really know the impact that position coaches have. We see a position group play well, then we automatically say, oh, great coaching. They play bad, oh, bad coaching. I'm not talking coordinators. I'm talking about position coaches. Most of us don't have any way of knowing the actual impact of that unless you're watching the game in seasons over seasons and you're seeing how a said group is performing on a consistent basis while under a certain person. You could definitely contribute some of that to the position coach. But I'll say all that to say this. I have no opinion on Aaron Carey. I have no idea what he's done or what his impact has been as a coach. What I will say is this, and I'm curious to see you guys' thoughts, and I'm going to look. I'm going to look at the comments to see how y'all feel. Does it make you guys feel a way at all that Aaron Carey was a bust? Could probably be classified as a bust in the NFL. Does that make you feel any kind of way that we hire him as a coach and he was an NFL bust? I want to see how you guys answer that. I'll wait till I see a few of your comments. Then I'll give you my thoughts on it. But I just thought that was, something fun to throw at you guys. So how does that make you feel? Because I know a lot of times, fans will say, man, they get the worst coaches, or they'll say, we always promote them from within, or we just don't have a good choice of position coaches and yada, yada, yada. So if you're in that crowd, how do you feel about them bringing in a guy that was literally, again, the phrase bust, he was considered a bust. How do you guys feel about him being, the new inside linebacker coach or what have you? How do you guys feel about that? Let me see what y'all got. Charlie Brown says, no, they make the best coaches. Yeah, I do. I think the Steelers do a good job with their staff. I really do. Hunter Johnson said, Pete Carroll said he was good. If he can coach, he can coach. Yeah. Absolutely, Q. Q, I'm going to give you a round of applause because that's where I'm going. Q says some players are better coaches than they are players. That is absolutely facts. Facts. Diggy says, nope. You know the saying, those that can do, those can't teach. He said those that can do, those who can't teach. Okay. Kenya says Kerry was a bust, but is a good linebacker coach, Sim. Okay. And I believe that coming from Kenyon. But like I said, I don't follow the coaches so closely to know. But I mean, if Kenyon is saying that, I'm definitely gonna trust Kenyon because y'all know how Kenyon gets down. Jersey Boy says, why some Steelers fans think the top coach want to come to the Steelers? Whoa. Now you asking a real question there, Jersey Boy. Because that's the Steelers fan way. We're supposed to have all the coaches, all the free agents, all the draft picks. That's how it goes. All of the trades. That's how it works. That's how Steelers Nation does. That's what they expect. But all right, man. Yeah, I'm right there with Q. Listen, some of the best coaches weren't the greatest players. And sometimes good players do become good coaches, but y'all know that's how it works. You can look at any sport and you can determine that. Actually, father-in-law Leonard is right in here, and he would agree with me 100% with this. Y'all know I'm a huge boxing fan. Some of the best trainers weren't the top-of-the-line fighters. They may have had good, solid boxing careers, but they weren't Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? They weren't. A lot of these guys, some of these trainers that y'all watch, some of these marquee trainers, they weren't these stars when they boxed. They were just decent boxers. But they can coach very well. It's just how it works sometimes. Sometimes you can completely know a sport and be able to teach it and coach it better than you actually perform. And that happens all the time. It's, especially in the NBA. Round of applause to Still Elite. Here y'all go. Y'all coming in here with these donations, man. I really appreciate y'all tonight. He says, only free agent I want realistically is Bud Dupree, a.k.a. Stud. Can you? Yeah, man. We're going to get into that too, man. Tonight, I'm really just going to talk about our in-house guys. But, yeah, you never know. A guy like Bud might make his way back. But, yeah, that's just my take on Aaron Carey. Let me move on to the next topic. This is very short and sweet, to the point. For you guys who've ever been to Heinz Field, right? Because I don't know if any of you guys have gone to the new stadium, the new named stadium. But if you ever have been to Heinz Field, one thing that I did not like about certain sections of that stadium were the restrooms for the guys. There was a section there that has the troughs. And I don't know if all of y'all know what that is. I do not like that. You see it a lot. Well, you used to see it a lot in the South where there's not these individual urinals. There's just this trough. I was never a fan of that. Ever. Hate it. Because I don't feel like you're just supposed to be out in the open like that when you're doing private business. Now, I have no shame. I don't care who's there, who sees me, and none of that. I could care less about that. But I would prefer to at least be sectioned off and not have to stand shoulder to shoulder, literally, with nothing blocking. I hated it. So I don't know if you guys have been there, but yeah, the report came out that they are replacing the troughs and they're putting in actual individual urinals. So that round of applause to Art Rooney or whoever else made that decision. Great decision, sir. Small victory for me because I shall be going back to a home Steelers game this year. Just don't know which game yet, but there you have it. Small victory for me. But all right, man, let's get into the real talk. First, what we're going to do is talk about the current free agents that the Steelers have, right? Because Omar Khan really leaned in. He's kind of making a lot of references to taking care of their own guys. Again, one of those Kevin Colbert traits that he used to talk about as well. So now, what I'm going to do to you guys is, I'm for you guys, I'm going to read you a list of all the current free agents, right? And I want you guys to put in the comments who are must signs. Who are the guys that we must, or you would prefer us to re-sign? I'll give you mine, and then we can go to the phone calls. But that's pretty much the extent of my, the conversation around Omar Khan is he's taking that approach. He's being very clear that he wants to sign our in-house free agents. He's talking about, he's being very general with it, but he's saying conversations are going well. They talked about Cam Sutton and guys like that, and that's what he prefers to do. So what I'm going to do here is just get from you guys, out of these free agents, who would you prefer them to retain? So let's read the full list. Larry Ogunjobi, Mason Rudolph, Devin Bush, Cameron Sutton, Derek Watt, Jesse Davis. I wonder how many of y'all remember who Jesse Davis is. That's a pop quiz. What position does he play? Tyson Alualu, Marcus Allen, Terrell Edmonds, Robert Spillane, Malik Reed, Chris Wormley, DeMonte Casey, Trenton Scott. Boy, that O-line depth. Carl Joseph, Steven Sims, Miles Boykin, Jameer Jones, which actually I think Jameer Jones just signed a 1-year deal. So Jameer is no longer a free agent, but I want to talk about Jameer in a moment too. Hopefully I don't forget. Benny Snell Jr., J.C. Hassenauer, James Pierre, and Zach Gentry. Now, out of these names, I'm going to come back now to the chat to see what you guys got. Who are these guys? Which one of these guys or guys, who's a must re-sign? Who do you guys think? And I'm coming to the chat right now, see what y'all got. Cam Sutton, Edmonds, Larry O. Yep, I can agree with that. Brent Fox says re-sign Cam. And the Steelers card was the first one I read. Jean Carlos Burgos says Larry O is a must. Love what he brought to the D-line. Gentry and Cam Sutton. Okay, giving Gentry some love, tight end love. And I might be willing to agree with you on that too, because who's behind that? I mean, we do have Connor Haywood behind Freiermuth, but, I like what Zach Gentry became as a big body, and he turned into an even bigger body, and he became a decent blocker. So, yeah, we're going to need that type of guy. Kenya says Sutton. Rajan says Sutton. Kenya says the rest are debatable. Yeah. C. Antoine Hill says Sutton. Lanisha's right there with me as well. Cam, Edmonds, and Larry O. Hunter Johnson. Oh, y'all talking about Jesse Davis. Okay, so y'all remember who he was. Yeah, he was on the line. He played some tackle, but he could play guard too. Q said he's still mad they traded for Davis. Few Late Night says Larry and Cam for sure. Joshua Shields says Casey, Sutton, and Edmonds. Okay, Casey. I'm there with you on that one. Pittsburgh Toddy 86 says Edmonds, Sutton, Larry O, Gentry, Spillane, and Casey. Pittsburgh Toddy, you get a round of applause. You get a round of applause, Pittsburgh Toddy 86. That's a banging list. That's probably really pretty close to where I'm going. But I'll come right back to you, Toddy. We got to give another round of applause, man. Carmichael dropping more donations. Boy, can't thank y'all enough. Round of applause to Carmichael. Okay. Carmichael threw another variable in there. He says, I would like to see Sutton, Larry O, Casey, Edmonds, and a restructure for William Jackson III. Let's not forget about him. Because he's not a free agent, but that contract ain't cute. As far as, what it becomes in year 2. And the kid didn't even play. I mean, he's not a kid. He's almost 30 years old, but y'all know what I'm saying. James says, Highsmith, Edmonds, Casey, and Benny. Highsmith is not a free agent. So you can take him off the list. He's not a free agent for this season. Okay, so everybody's pretty much in unison. Kenyon says, Casey, Edmonds, Warmly, Sutton, me. And he's laughing. Oh man, so all right, let me get to my list, man, and I'm pretty close to what Toddy said, I believe. Let me look through these names again. Y'all already know. Do I even have to tell y'all how I feel about Larry O? Some of y'all probably can count the amount of times I said it during the season. Hey, man, hey, we need to re-sign this dude now. I didn't even want him to get to free agency. I wanted us to find a way to get him signed long-term, or at least an extension, during the season. So he goes without saying. Cam Sutton, I would like to see back. I'm in favor of bringing Terrell Edmonds back too. I don't believe the safety class is at a point where I'm willing to throw a starter in there. Because I'm not taking a safety in the first. So I'm not opposed to, bringing Edmonds back. And if you still want to see if you can find a safety later on in the draft, if you can bring around a guy like Norwood, another season under his belt, while, you allow Edmonds to play another year or two or what have you, I don't know. But I'm not opposed to bringing Edmonds back. Actually, I would prefer to bring Edmonds back because I think our defense right now is starting to click a little bit. I liked what our defense started, was able to bring to the table when they could play with KZ, Edmonds, and Minka. Really liked the type of versatility that we were able to show with those three. I like that. And I think we got cheated out of seeing more of that because KZ went down. But we started seeing his effect. We saw it in the preseason, but then when we start seeing it later in the season, yeah, it could be interesting, man, with those three guys primarily on the field. The Steelers have been trying to do the 3 safety look for a long time, and now I think they finally have a trio that's solid, pretty decent. So that's why I'm definitely bringing Edmonds back if I can, because I think his market is not going to be that high. Let me see. They actually, on the site I'm looking at here, which is sporttrack.com, they have his projected value. They have him at an average annual of 5.4 per year. That's easy. You can easily make that work and stretch that however you want to stretch it. Robert Spillane, I think you bring Robert Spillane back. Inside linebacker is not looking good, folks. Devin Bush is probably out of here. We only have Miles Jack, who also has a pretty sizable contract in the second year as far as the cap. Mark Robinson. And then, again, you can't depend on drafting all these guys. And you might not be able to get another free agent to replace Robert Spillane. But let me hit you guys with that caveat as well. I'm only looking at the Steelers guys. There's probably some guys on other teams, that will be non-Steeler free agents that you might be able to replace some of these guys with. So that's not off the table. I'm just kind of speaking from a standpoint as listening to what Omar Khan said, wanting to re-sign his own guys. I'm just trying to determine out of this list who I would bring back if I was Omar Khan, if I'm trying to keep my Steeler, as many Steelers as I can. So where did I leave off? I said Larry O, Cam, Terrell Edmonds, Robert Spillane. Next one would be DeMonte Casey. Definitely want to see that. I really do. I want to see what KZ can bring to the table again. Like I said, man, that trio looked nice. I would bring Steven Sims back. He's gonna be cheap. I like what he did for us as a return man. I did. And I think that's a guy who we've seen do the job that you can get on the cheap. So, if he's cheap, bring him back. I'm a little torn with Benny Snell, to be honest with you guys. I think you can replace that. So it's not that I dislike Benny Snell, but seeing is that Warren has gotten more burned than Benny as a runner. However, what you're going to lose in Benny Snell is his special teams play. So that one is a toss-up, but I do think there's a way to replace that. So I'm cool with not re-signing Benny Snell. I'm cool with not re-signing James Pierre. I do think we should probably try to get Zach Gentry back. Definitely, again, with him playing the role that he's played for us, he did it fairly well this past season. So there you have it. Everyone else, we do need D-line help. So let's see. Chris Wormley's value, what do they have it estimated? Bear with me, guys. The page is running slow. They got him average of 5.9 a year. I wouldn't be disappointed if they brought him back, but maybe you can find somebody else. I mean, you got the Leals of the world, you got the Loudermilks. Maybe you draft another guy at some point. We got to address those are the biggest needs. I mean, it's clear. O-line, you could probably throw D-line in there, inside linebacker, cornerback. I mean, those are our biggest needs. That's about it from this list, man. Again, I don't think I missed anybody. So again, from that list, Larry O, Cam Sutton. I love Tyson, but Tyson is older now. He might even retire. Terrell Edmonds, Robert Spillane, KZ, Sims, and then it's hard pressed for anybody after that. The only other person, like I said, is maybe Gentry. And that's where I'm at with it. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they handle it, man. Because, again, like I said, I don't really know. I haven't looked in detail to see who all of the other free agents are that are non-Steelers. So it's going to be interesting to see how they approach it. And, yeah, Benny and somebody's saying it here, Jersey Boy said Benny or Watt, both are special teams guys. That's going to be the tough part, too. I think Derek Watt probably would be the guy that's easier to sign. Understanding his role, you won't have to break the bank for him, and why not stay there and play with his brother? So I think if anything, if they want to invest in him, they could get him back, but I don't think both him and Benny will be back. Yeah, you know what, Kenyon, I wouldn't be upset about that either. Kenyon says, he would sign warmly. And yeah, we do need the D-line help. Absolutely. And it's not like Wormley, he didn't play bad. I mean, there was times, I think early on in the season where we were really saying, Wormley stepped it up. And the year before that. But, Wormley dealt with some injury this past season. So, yeah, if you can get him back relatively cheap, have at it. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see how they approach free agency, which guys they can get back, which guys are going to test the market. And there you have it. So, bada boom, bada bing. So let's see if we got any phone calls, man. And if we do, we'll take a few of those. And yeah, we got 3 calls in the queue. So you guys know the routine, man. I don't have to tell y'all every week, but keep it to a minimum. Where's the headphones? Here they are. So as of now, we have 3 calls. Let's take the first one here, which is area code 318. What you got for us?
Well, what's up, Bob?
What's going on?
Oh, nothing much. Just want to touch on what you said about the inside linebackers. It's basically, I feel like we need another strong duo. If you just think about it, all our best teams. You know, I know we had like the steel curtain and all that, but think about it. We had like Jack Ham, Jack Lambert. Then we had James Ferrier, Foot, James Ferrier, Timmons, and then that little brief moment when we had Ryan Shazier and Vince Williams. Look, look what they did until that unfortunate injury. So I was just thinking, I was like, maybe we just get a strong linebacker duo somewhere, free agency or in the draft. Maybe they can take the defense to the next level because we got the pieces. So don't get me wrong, we need work on that O-line, that left side. But I was just thinking about the defense. I was just thinking if we can get two strong linebackers, I feel like that can take us to the next step because we got the premier edge rushers, we got the interior work fire, and then Mika, that name says it all. So that's all I really got. Nothing much. Y'all have a good night.
Man, great call, man. And you actually reminded me of something that I'm going to comment on in a second, but I want to address what you said about the linebackers. Absolutely right, man. I mean, even though I said it would be cool to see Miles Jack and Robinson play together because Robinson is more of the Vince Williams type. Miles Jack isn't Shazier, but he's more of the Rome Shazier type. But I'm going to be honest, I'm not 100% sold on Jack. I think Jack does a decent job, but you could probably get a little better than that. Boy, how good would it be for us to have the Ravens combination? Oh man. I would love to be in a situation where we have like a queen along with Roquan Smith. Like, come on, man. So yeah, I'm with you there. If you can find a real stout, real steady, solid tandem, and again, everybody can say if, right? But you never know, man. Maybe this season it might be Miles Jack and Robinson, but if Spillane is re-signed, I'm sure he's going to play too, but great point. But one thing that you reminded me of, I wanted to say this too about Omar Khan. He's kind of saying what we were saying, not too long ago. I kept saying, hey, man, I don't know if offensive line is on the top of the priority anymore. Right? And I'm just talking about first round. Because remember, they have the 17th pick, and then they have the 32nd pick. So they could do some playing around with that first pick, right? They might feel like they could just go get best available at the first pick, and then at 32, they'll be able to get the piece they need to fill. So it's going to get interesting, but I'm not sure that O-line at 17 is going to be at the top of their priority list, depending on who's still there. Because even Khan said today, that unit really started to gel. So I think Dave Bryant said it best on their last podcast yesterday. He thinks the Steelers value their tackles more than others value the tackles. I couldn't agree more. We'll see. All right, next up, man, area code 651. What you got for us?
Hey, what's up with you, Sam?
What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. I want to add on to what I said last week. I want to put it in the air again. Hopefully, if it's me, I'm calling the Cardinals with this whole changeover. Hey, what you want from Taylor Collins?
Yeah.
I got to have him. You put him with, oh my God, what's his name? 93. I can't think of his name right now, but
Mark Robinson.
You put them together for the future. Oh my goodness. You got something. But my wish for the draft, I know everybody wants a corner in the first round, and the more I'm listening, the more I'm wondering if they'll even take one in the first round. But I think this guy may be second, third round. Man, Clark Phillips in the slot. Oh my God. The boy's a monster. I don't know if you've seen him. To me, he's a mix between Hilton and Sutton. He can cover, and he will hit you. And he's a dog, man. I would love to see him in the slot. He was good for years with him in there. And we all know how important the slot position is to our defense, especially the last few years. And then the last thing I got is, if I'm TJ, I'm calling Bud. Look here, man. You had a rough year. You made your money. Once you come here for 1 year and ride with us and see what happens, you can have a fresh start. You don't have to play as many snaps. The press can keep going. And then on top of that, you can show people, you walk right into the same defense. You can show people you can still play. Maybe go get your payday after that. But where you going to go this year? Hey, come on home, play for a year, then go where you need to go, you know? And one last thing, too, is one thing I heard Khan say, he's not going to be, something to the nature of, he's not going to be afraid of free agency, to attack free agency. So, to me, that says one thing, we're going shopping. Now, I don't know how we got to make it work, but we're going. But that's all I got.
Man, you make a great point. I think you said it last week. Yeah, Tevin Collins, man. Tevin, no, not Tevin. Zaven Collins. Man, I just remember how crazy we were about him when he came out. So, yeah, you know, if you could get a guy like that, I'd be very interested to see what he could do in our system. Also, man, for those of you that liked what Bud Dupree did in his last 2 seasons with the Steelers, could you imagine now, again, he hasn't done his greatest in Tennessee, but I would not be opposed. Again, this is all based on if the money works. I would not be opposed to a TJ Watt, a Alex Highsmith, and having Bud behind them. I would not oppose that at all. Because right now, the only guy that we pretty much got under contract is Jameer Jones. And no disrespect to him, but that ain't going to do it. In today's NFL, it's crazy. And I'm glad that the NFL has gotten like this, where you really got to have depth now. You got to have at least 3 receivers that get off. You would be nice to have a 4th one. But at least your top 3 got to be decent. Same thing with edge rushers. You got to have 3 of them boys. You can't just have the 2 dogs and then just have some random poo butts. No disrespect to them, because y'all know I don't like to call any professional athlete a bum or nothing like that. But come on, man. You got to have that number 3 dude got to be special. We seen it last year. What happened when TJ went down. And when they was able to just key on Highsmith, who still had a great season for him. Excellent season. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Because I gave him his name back as he exited the Steelers. He became Bud again. He looked like 48 in Tennessee, I'm just saying. But yeah. Let's move on to the next one, man. Area code 859. What you got for us?
Yo, what up, Sim? This Carmichael, bro.
Yes,
And,
sir.
you know what I mean? Just want to say, I'll probably watch that interview a couple times, you know what I mean? Just so you can see the layman terms, and then you could dig a little deeper to pay attention to what the casuals can't see in the air, you know what I mean? Like, and they not drafting the offensive lineman in the first round, because you could tell he was proud of what he did last offseason, because he was gloating about how they came together at the end of the season when he was talking to Mike Florio, and I forgot the other dude, but he was the quarterback son, Phil Simms, his son. But he was gloating, like basically like he was proud of what he did. And so I don't really see them shopping for no free agents neither, because they idea of attacking free agency is signing their guys back for real. Like that's, they draft guys, they develop guys, and then they try to keep their guys. So it's like the Steelers circle all over again. He set up under Cobra, so he's not gonna change too much of what he do. And that also puts you in position to draft best player available. And that's what they really like to do. You don't really want to be hamstrung to, one idea. And you could tell, like, he really like Cobra Jr. in a way, you know what I mean? But he's the cap guy. And I've been trying to tell people that, like, he's the cap guy. Like,
yeah.
And the dude from Philly, he gonna put together the draft board. But Tomlin is the dude who gonna be making these picks, man. Y'all better wake up, man. Tomlin making these decisions, bro. Tomlin wanted Kenny. Tomlin got Kenny. And I told y'all he was gonna go for Kenny. I knew he was gonna fall, but that's another side story. That's a side story for another day, man. But and best player available at 17, when they got Addison ranked like the 17th, 18th player in the country, like coming in the draft. that's like best player available. If y'all understand where I'm coming with this, you know what I mean? I'm an Addison advocate, and I'm gonna say that, and I don't care what anybody say, because they say we got holes, but you don't know no hole in the team until free agency is over. Because once free agency is over, that kind of let you know, like, well, yeah, we is kind of short. And then I don't see the cornerback neither, because we led the league in interceptions last year. Like, why would you break that up? Like, that don't even make no sense. Like, you might need a depth dude from 4th, 5th round, but you don't need to break that up. Them dudes was balling last year. Like, I just don't be understanding what people be seeing. They be trying to play Madden, DraftKings. I don't know, but like, this ain't what the Steelers do, man. They bring their dudes back. They draft them because they know what they made of. They know they football guys, and they gonna put their nose down and work. Like, AB was just like a unicorn, like a 6th round unicorn that don't grow on trees, man. But I'm eating up your time, bro. I'm gonna let you go, bro. But yeah, man, appreciate you letting me speak, bro.
Man, no problem, man. You was saying a lot there. A whole lot that I agree with. First and foremost, like I will say this. Corner is in play. You pretty much said what I said last week and what we all say all the time. Those of us that kind of look at it like that. Free agency is going to tell us a lot. If they get Cam Sutton signed, they still probably need to look corner, but it might not be the first round. It might not be the second round. You know, they might try to find a guy later. But corner is going to be in play at some point, unless they bring in another free agent. Because the corner situation is kind of shaky. I know one of you guys mentioned the slot. I forget what name y'all said, but yeah, slot position is probably a position we could definitely improve in, because we were kind of doing the mix and match in slot last year. But yeah, you listen to that interview, they're not going offensive line early, I don't think. And the last thing I wanted to comment on that you said, he stole my thunder a little bit because I was going to save it until later. Even though I don't want them to do this because I don't think that's the biggest pick choice. But remember when I said 17 being very possible that 17 could be the best player available, knowing that they're coming right back at 32 to get a need, and then coming right back again in the second round, like 2 picks in the second round. So you got 2 picks in the first 32 picks. That's a luxury. That allows them to play with house money at 17. And here's where I'm going with it. My man just said it. Let's say all of the top corners gone. Let's say a couple of the bona fide tackles are gone. Addison sitting right there at 17. Like I said, for the record, I don't want them to do that. Would I be mad if they did that and they still were able to plug some holes in free agency and still grab some more guys in the draft? I wouldn't be upset about it because, again, now you're looking at George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, and Jordan Addison as your top 3. And then you got a utility piece in Calvin Austin. I don't want them to do that. I'm just saying, don't be surprised if they play with house money with 17, because Omar Khan kept saying, this draft is deep. So if the top 16 guys on their board are gone at 17, and you can get Addison, and then come back and get a position of need at 32, I'm just saying it's possible something like that could happen. I'm not advocating for it. Carmichael is. I'm just saying, y'all know how crazy the draft is. So don't be surprised. MT Mooch, a round of applause. Honestly, MT Mooch, I can't answer that because I'm not too familiar with the other kid. Again, I'm always late watching these guys. I'll have more to say in about a month or two. Well, a month, because that's why I cram. I cram in March before the draft. Well, I have up until the draft. So I can't really definitively say. I don't know which one of those guys. I know what Addison brings to the table. I don't know the other kid enough for me to answer that, properly, if that makes sense. Yep. Whoa, Mark Malone says he don't even think Addison gets open in the NFL. Okay. All right, that's an interesting take, but, he could be right. So, all right, guys, we got one last call to take. And after this call, I'll chill with you guys in the chat for a moment, and then we'll be up out of here. 973, what you got for us?
Yeah, what's up, Sim? How you doing, brother?
Good. What's going on, man?
I can't call it. My idea draft, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but Pittsburgh Steelers, right now we definitely need a corner. I would love for them to sign Cam Sutton back. And my idea, Sim, corner, man, it just this would be a dream come true if it's possible that Joey Porter Jr. slips down to us at 17. That is the all-idea pick. If he's anything like the father, and I watched some film on him. He's long, he's lanky. I would love to have I would love Pittsburgh. I think Omar Khan gonna be more aggressive than Kevin Colbert. I think we're gonna be surprised if it's a player that's on their board they like. I really believe they're gonna move up and get the person. I don't think offensive line, because offensive line did gel together. The only weak spot we really got is Kevin Dotson, but Dan Moore did show signs. I've seen signs of him improving. But we can get a guard down in the future. But my idea pick, Sim, man, Joey Porter Jr. Man, I just want to know your opinion. You have a good night, brother.
Man, appreciate the call, and I cannot forget about Junior. That's one corner that, like you said, some people are saying it's possible that he slips, and he's sitting there available. And see, here's the thing that you guys have to consider, and myself included, right? When it comes to these picks, a lot of times, even as fans, we'll get, and I can take these off now, we'll get sidetracked, right? And we're only thinking about current day. But you got to understand the NFL organizations and teams, and particularly the Steelers, they're thinking about the future. So sometimes they'll pick a position and people will say, oh, we don't need that. I want to win now. I get it. But they might be setting up for years to come. And that's why I think the corner is definitely in play. Because even if you get Cam Sutton, right? You sign him for 2-3 years, then you need somebody again, right? But not just Cam Sutton. You look at everybody else. Levi Wallace, I think, only signed a 2-year deal. So he's a free agent after this season coming up. See what I'm saying? And you definitely need a bona fide slot. So even if you bring Cam Sutton back, you need a guy who is a solidified slot corner. No disrespect to Marlette, but come on. We all know when Marlette was out there, he did some decent things. Don't get me wrong. I love that pick he got in the season. Played it perfect. But we all know that he isn't the constant coverage guy. I like Marlette being the Mike Hilton type. But much like Mike Hilton, they have coverage moments, but then sometimes they just get taken advantage of. So you need a corner. And again, I still think the Steelers would prefer to have Cam inside. But that's when we really started seeing the defense come to life. That, when it was times when we were able, it was early, but when we were able to have a Kello and Levi and then put Cam inside. Even when it was times when we had Pierre outside, Cam inside, and Levi on the outside. You want, me personally, and I'm going to just be selfish and say, I want Cam Sutton in the slot. Even though he played better last year outside, but Cam is still a little suspect when he's got to play the long ball out there. But that's just the nature of the business. Because some people are going to say, oh, he's not worth the dog. I tell y'all, the NFL is a business. So guys' value is based on market value. how they rank up and how they measure up to other guys who in the same position make certain money. That's how they determine whose value is what. So Cam is not going to be cheap. He's not going to be under, I don't think he's less than 10 million a year. Maybe 9-ish, but he's not going to be super cheap. So shout outs to MT Mooch, man. Another donation. He says, what if Will, is it Levi or Levis is there at 17? Yeah, man, anything is possible. And I see a lot of you guys are talking about inside linebacker being the biggest need. All right, so let me ask some of y'all, who do they draft? So when y'all say the biggest need, are y'all looking for draft at 17, at 32, or are you talking free agent? Guru says he'll be there at 18. Kenya says there are 5 inside linebackers that will help us in this draft, along with Nolan Smith, 6'3", 237, who played edge, but can and will convert to inside linebacker. Okay. And you know, Kenyon has already sent me a list of a few guys, and I'll let you know the position guys that I'm going to be looking at here shortly. Claude Bishop says free agent. So let's see. I'm pretty sure this guy is on the list that Kenyon sent me. Let me check. Who was that name again, Kenya? Let me see. Nolan Smith. Yep, here he is. Nolan Smith from Georgia. Lucas Van Ness. I'm familiar with him. And what I'm going to try to do too, guys, is find as many matchups as possible. And Kenyon, if you know some, let me know. Like any that you know right offhand or that you took note of, where it was guys that we're looking at offensively versus the team that we're looking at a guy defensively. So I can just watch the whole game and I can kind of scout both of them on the same possessions, if that makes sense. So I can watch offense versus defense and scout the same guys. Like as many of those combinations that you could think of, let me know. Somebody else says Will Levy's adds a different dynamic to the offense, sort of like Josh Allen. Okay. I think we got another donation. Oh, that was Carmichael. So round of applause to you. But yeah, I'm going to be looking at the offensive tackles, interior guys. I'll look at outside linebackers and edge, D tackles. You know, of course, guys like Jalen Carter, who's not going to be there. I mean, you never know, but you know, guys like Brian Breezy, I think is how he pronounces it, or Breze, I think he pronounces it, something crazy like that. Guys like Keanu Benton, see, these are the type of dudes that, you know, you might be able to get later on, you know, second or third round type of guys. Like, I'm not just going to look at the top tier guy, you know, because then you're talking first round. D-line help, you know, some of these guys, like Mozzie Smith is a guy I'm familiar with. So I'm going to be looking at all of these guys, man, and try to have a pretty good handle on it. And y'all know we're going to bring Kenyon back in here, and we're going to do our round table, steel table, definitely before the draft and such. Usually after free agency. Somebody said they donated a few minutes ago. I was taking calls. Who said that? Still a lead. My bad. Round of applause. My bad. I got you. Round of applause and thank you. Thank you so much. He said, let me go back to it. Hopefully we go trenches. Don't need more sexy skilled players early in the draft. Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. It's gonna be interesting. It's so funny, guys. Like, I feel like we say this every year that the Steelers probably will go best player available, but this particular draft is unique in the sense of what I said about the positioning. I'm telling you, man, I think that number 17th pick is house money because you coming right back essentially in the first round at pick 32, because, you know, the Dolphins, I think it was, forfeited their pick. That's why everything got moved up, if you will. But guys, having a pick at 32 changes a lot. It changes a lot. So they literally could just say, I'm going with the BAP at 17. Whoever it is, the highest person on that board, that's who we're going to take. And then we're going to go see if we can get us a position of need or two positions of need in the second round with 2 picks in the second round. So, again, we seem like we say that every year, but I think this one actually fits. It's unique. It's uniquely fits the scenario of the Steelers literally being able to say, you know what, I'm going to bust my gun on 17. I'm going to take a shot here. This is a luxury pick. And again, this is assuming, again, we never know how the draft is going to break, but this is me assuming that the top projected corners are off the board. The Will Andersons, guys like that off the board. Top projected tackles are off the board. That's what me thinking at when we pick at 17, those guys are gone. And it leaves guys like Addison, right? And that's what I'm saying. I think the Steelers might say, you know what? We can, again, look at last year. Look at how the draft fell last year. Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett were sitting there like this, looking at each other like, which one of us going? You going? You going? I'm going. You going? You going? I think I'm going. I don't know if I'm going. I think I'm going, but you're going. No, I don't know who's going. They both talked to us. We'll see. And then they turned back and did this. And they waited to see whose name got called. And none of us imagined that they both would be there. None of us thought that Pickett and Willis would be there. That was never a scenario that we contemplated until that night. When we did the show, we did the Steel Table Collective show, and myself, Kenyon, Destiny, and Debbie were all like, wait a minute. We're at pick like 15 and both of these guys are on the board. What happens if they're both there? And you saw how it went. So you just never know, man. That's why I think this is a luxury pick, man, at 17. Maybe we get the best. And like my man said earlier, you know, maybe Porter is kind of the one who's, it seems like he's the corner that's kind of being, I won't say it's the same as when TJ Watt was in the edge rush class, but it does seem like Porter Jr. is not the one that's being pushed in front. It's more Gonzalez and Witherspoon, right? And even some of the mocks are saying the Steelers land Porter at 17. That might happen. And I honestly think if he's there, you know, again, let me say this for the record. Now, I'm sure I'm going to say this draft night. I'm going to say this leading up to the draft. There's no 100% projection. Because every time somebody says they like this player, they like that player, there's another person saying, no, I don't like them because of X, Y, Z. None of us have 100% concrete information. None of these players are coming out of college extremely polished in their position, meaning that they don't make no mistakes. They all have things they need to work on. So I know some people have criticized a couple areas of Porter's game, but you can say that about any of these guys. So there's no safe pick, so to speak. So I feel like if Joey Porter Jr. is sitting there, and given the fact that the Steelers are gonna need a corner into the future, and given the fact that you have to remember what the 5th year option means when you're drafted in the first round, all of that is a factor. You have to consider all of that. where you might mess around and get you a 5-year starter or at least a 5-year contributor at like, that's why I'm saying sometimes it's worth it to just shoot your gun. You know, you miss every shot that you don't take. That is a fact. So that's kind of how I look at that, man. You got to look at it like that, and we'll see. We'll see what position that they feel, is more advantageous. We'll see. But yeah, I'm not opposed to that at all. I'm not opposed to that whatsoever. But again, as we get closer to it, and like I said, man, come March 15th, around that time, free agency really starts kicking up, especially if they are aggressive like they was last year. You know how the Steelers was already talking to people early. If we see that happen and we see what positions it is, just like it did last year, we already gonna know how the draft going for the most part. Then we can start narrowing down, like, all right, I think this way they going. But it's exciting. It's always an exciting time of the year, man, when you're dealing with this. So, all right, as you can see, guys, my time is up. So I literally will stay here maybe 2 more minutes. Like, it's 8:43 right now. I will not be here longer than 8:46. So 2.5 minutes, if you will. I'll read a couple of these comments, and then I'm going to wrap it up. What y'all got? MT Mooch says, I would draft Stinson over Dorian. Dorian is a cocky SOB that isn't good. Gives me Manziel vibes. Okay. Wait, so y'all talking about, what y'all talking about? Is that a quarterback? Oh, by the way, you heard Omar Khan also say, they happy at quarterback. Oh, and by the way, I'm curious to see how the Steelers are going to approach that. How they going to approach quarterback situation? Mitch Trubisky is going to remain the number 2 because he's under contract. Could they by chance draft a quarterback late? I'd hate for them to do that, but clearly they're not drafting. Let me just let y'all know that they're not drafting a quarterback early. They're not. For some of you guys that say, "Oh, you keep shooting," I get it, but I told y'all they weren't doing that. They're high on Kenny Pickett. What else y'all got? Give me a couple more before we get out of here. Kenyon says he's glad that MT Mooch is not our GM. See, I haven't been able to follow y'all's back and forth. Wave Dave says Dorian would be a good backup. Is that a QB? I told y'all, man. Forgive me. I'll be late on some of these players, man. It's amazing how fast I turn around, like watching footage and stuff like that, and I'm able to speak on them come draft time. Oh, yeah. I do know that kid. Oh, okay. From UCLA. Okay, yeah, I do know him. My bad. See, Antoine Hill says the draft is unpredictable. Facts, man. Facts. Matter of fact, Kenyon told me to watch this guy. Yeah, I know him. I don't know why I wasn't connecting the name there. My bad. Round of applause to my man, Carmichael. Appreciate the donation and all the donations tonight. He says Khan openly gloated about KP development. Bold letters there. Yes, he did. I mean, it was gushing. OBM. Okay, it's 8:46. Last one right here. OBM says, I think Steelers go BPA at 17. Whoever it may be. Like you said, they have the 32nd pick and could shake something up before they even get their second round pick. Right on, brother. Right on. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. Good show tonight. Well, we made it to an hour and 10 minutes. Not bad. Didn't think we would do an hour, but, you guys make it interesting. The phone calls and such, keep it going. So I thank y'all and appreciate y'all. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Before we do, man, I'm going to remind y'all to do this for me. Where is it? Boom, right there. If you haven't already, The like button. That's the least you could do. If you like what you saw tonight and you're not subscribed, subscribe. I'm not even going to say consider subscribing. No, I'm going to tell you to subscribe. Why wouldn't you if you really like what you saw tonight? And also, if you are subscribed, make sure you have those bell notifications on so that way you know when I'm streaming, whether it's still a content or if I upload a video, my gaming stuff, or I'm streaming a game, you'll know that I'm on and popping. So you got to cut on your notifications. But outside of that, hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the week. If you're going to watch the combine, man, do that. Stay glued to the TV, take notes of people you liked and didn't like. Maybe you can come back next week and talk about that. Thank you, Pittsburgh Toddy. And actually, I don't know if I've seen your name before. I could be wrong, but I think you're a relatively new name, so I appreciate your view tonight. Thank you so much, and the kind words there. So I'm hope that the show is dope for you guys. My hope is to make sure we're all entertained and you guys entertain me, so it's a dual exchange there. But yeah, man, I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. Enjoy the combine and just, enjoy life. Be safe. God bless. Good night. And like always, I thank you for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday. Catch you in the next one. Peace.